So let's start with this weekend violence that happened. I mean, so there were three separate incidents. Let's start with the first one. We'll try to make this easy to follow. So police arrested and charged a 19-year-old, Michael Lunsford Jr., this morning. This is a look at his mugshot. And he's charged in a shooting that left a 22-year-old, Avante Copeland, dead. Now, this happened Saturday morning around 9:30 on Cleveland Avenue in South Linden. Here's a look at what the scene looked like on Saturday. Police say Lunsford was arrested and yesterday after a brief standoff with SWAT officers. So that was a whole thing that happened.
Right. And this,
those SWAT situations, they take up so many financial resources from the department. So it's always a bummer when it has to end like that.
Right. And I mean, that one was on Cleveland Avenue. Then there was another one on, there was two on Cleveland Avenue because the other one that we'll get to in a moment also happened on Cleveland Avenue. But we want to talk about this one that happened up at a Kroger, kind of on the north end, Northland area. This happened at that Kroger there off Worthington Center Drive. It's between Worthington Galena Road and Worthington Woods Boulevard up there. So that's Northland, I suppose. But anyway, this all happened at that Kroger. We do know an 18-year-old is dead in that one.
Too young.
Right. Abubakar Fofana is the one who died in that. Took himself to St. Anne's there in Westerville, Worthington, where he died. Jeez. This all happened around 3:20 in the afternoon, so we're talking daylight.
And this is,
there at that Kroger parking lot.
I mean, about 6 hours after the other shooting.
Right. And so Sunday night we learned that 18-year-old Muhammad Jola is now charged in this death. We don't know where he is. That search continues today. Anyone with information, though, is asked to call.
I could hear the helicopters this morning going, looking. I could see them. I mean, they're actively looking for this guy. So if you might know where he is, call 614-461-TIPS. That's Crime Stoppers
number. And that is Crime Stoppers. So then the other one that happened over the weekend. This was the other one that happened on Cleveland Avenue about 5 blocks south of that first one. This happened in the 1100 block. This one happened in the 1600 block of Cleveland Avenue. Hold on. There's a lot of streets involved.
East 16th.
East 16th is where police were first called, but we then learned that shooting happened on Cleveland Avenue in the 1600 block. But this is another one involving juveniles. A juvenile was arrested for shooting another juvenile. This all happened yesterday afternoon in South Linden, about 2:30. Once again, we're talking a daylight shooting. This is when officers got there. They didn't find the person who did it, but when they got there, they did find a girl with a gunshot wound. She was taken to the hospital. She is expected to be okay. But we do know that also in this, the person believed to have done the shooting, a juvenile male, has been arrested, now charged with a whole slew of charges. We've got felonious assault, discharge over a roadway, weapons under disability, and carrying a concealed weapon. Also facing a warrant for aggravated robbery. There was a lot involved in that one. So as we talk about, because two of these, we're talking with people 18 and younger, that kind of transitions us into city council looking into next week's city council meeting. Is the city wants to back up the late night curfew for that 12 to 18-year-old age range, because it's always been midnight in the past few years, but the city council wants to move that back to 10 p.m., kind of in an effort to keep kids off the street late at night, because things keep happening.
Look
Obviously,
at what's going on.
These are happening in the daylight, but that conversation, of course, came after the fight in Bexley. Well, outside of Bexley at Fun Fest.
Seriously?
Kids were fighting.
Yeah, and that's a look at that from last weekend. That ended up, because that was last Saturday, and then they had to cancel the rest of Fun Fest on Sunday because of this.
Which, it's a fundraiser for a church.
Right.
So that shouldn't be happening.
It's just kids showed up, started beating on each other.
And luckily, there was a huge police presence there. Bexley police responded really quickly. The video's blurred because these are minors in it, but again, it's just this cannot get a hold of these kids.
Right. Still, hot take.
And
don't blur their faces. If you choose to go act a fool in public, you face a little shame. You should.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the city council looking at backing that off. The mayor, city attorney Zach Klein as well, all saying it's it is not our job to raise your kids. Be a parent.
But the city is allocating $17.5
Right.
million in
Summer funding in an
Summer
effort
funding.
to try and
it's not
give
working.
kids things to do.
It's a lot of money and it's not working.
It is solely the parents' fault. Do your jobs.
Well, some parents don't know how to parent.
Yeah, so you know what? Do your jobs. Be a parent. It's not the city's job or the school system. Parent your kids. That's all I can say on that and not get canceled.
When we talked with Zach Klein about it, I mean, it is complicated because you can't really hold the parents accountable when the child's doing the crime, and it's
right. And it's frustrating for the rest of everybody not involved, because obviously we look at that situation at Fun Fest, people are out, everybody else except this herd of teenagers was out just to have a good time, be there to kick off the summer. Then we look at this shooting at the Kroger. You're just trying to grocery shop. To everybody else, this is a nuisance problem.
Yeah, and they just keep getting their hands on firearms. And shouldn't be.
Right.
So it's a big problem. And the summer has just started, I feel like. It's only the middle of June. We've already had 2 weekends like this back to back.
Yes.
Like, oh my gosh.
So